You are listening to We Are the Compassionate Revolution. I'm your podcast host, therapist, author, boundaries guide, Molly Moon. If you are a compassionate person and you want to know your worth, set better boundaries, live from your truth, and operate in your fullness, then I am so glad you've joined us. You ready? Let's get started. I have been in a race. And by race, I mean drawing all weekend with my eyeballs 12 inches from my iPad where I hand draw my cartoons, because I've been wrapping up the final pages for the book that's going to be coming out sometime around the beginning of next year. There is so much that goes into creating a book and then getting it into print and then getting it into stores. That's the part I'm about to learn. I had no idea about this wide world of publishing. I've been learning so much. So I've created this fully illustrated story for grown-ups that is very much in line with the theme of this podcast. Everything to do with the compassionate revolution. And I actually thought I was done with all the illustrations. I mean, maybe there'd be a few little things just to tweak or make just so, but I was feeling really good, really proud of myself. There was a lot of work that went into getting this thing done. But then I was having a meeting on a Zoom call with the graphic designer who's taking all of my illustrations and the way I've set them and putting them into whatever it is that the people who are publishing this need for printing. And she says, most of these images are uploaded in the wrong size. So in order for them to look right, I had to go back through my tablet and find every single relevant drawing and resubmit it and get it placed just so for the final version. And no, I did not draw these in an organized fashion. And if you've been following me for a while, you'll know I have thousands of cartoons besides just this book, right? So I had to go through so many drawings to find these ones. And how this happened, I will never know. But at some point in doing that, something got overloaded. And my tablet glitched out and just shut down. Probably from literal overwhelm. But when I turned it back on, the file that I had found that had almost all of the images from the last 3 chapters in it, I actually did the last 3 in a rather organized fashion. Surprise, surprise. That file was gone. And by gone, I mean deleted. I can't tell you how long I looked for it. I couldn't believe it was gone. And then when I realized it was deleted, I thought, oh, well, isn't there this thing where you can just go into the trash can and restore stuff from deleted status? But no. I mean, completely deleted. Even then, I still was like, no, that's not possible. It's somewhere. So I search all through the drawing app. I search through the computer websites I get on the search engines. I'm like, I ask AI. Oh my goodness. I'm like, no. Because these are all hand drawn, as in they just take a long time to do. But they're gone, as in those drawings are no longer with us. Well, they're with us, but in too small of a size to ever use. So I have this illustration submission deadline, which is down to literal days. There's not even a week left. We're down to days. And I've got basically a weekend to do this in. So you know what I did? I just stared at my iPad for a little while. When I realized it was gone, I don't even know how much time passed. Maybe it was a minute, maybe it was 10 minutes. I didn't move. There was nothing to move. I made no sounds. I just stared at my iPad. I was so overwhelmed. kind of in shock. And then, without really any thought, I just got up, slipped off my sandals, put on my walking shoes, grabbed my car keys, took off to the entrance to a hiking trail that I love that involves a lot of hills and woods. And I just walked until my legs wouldn't work. And even then, I came back home. I just couldn't deal. So it was towards the end of the day. So even though the clock's ticking, this deadline's here, I couldn't. I can't explain it. You know what I'm talking about if that's ever happened to you. It's just, you just can't. So I ran a hot bath, I read a good book, and I put myself to bed. I just took sweet care of myself and said, you know what, Molly? Tomorrow is a new day. Today, I'm done for the day. And I just let it be. And sure enough, I woke up in the morning and it was a new day. And I said, Molly, this is completely doable. You're supposed to publish this book. This book is meant to be. And I'm not saying this in a sense of toxic positivity. The story I'm telling you and what happened is just how my brain knows to think. It wasn't always like this, but it's getting really well trained. And if you look at the problem logically, I mean, what are the other options? What, just get depressed and stay that way? What's that going to do? Get really mad about how it's not fair, it's not right? Try to find something to blame? What's that going to do? I mean, I had my feelings, believe me. Horror, shock, anger, frustration, despair. And I loved on myself through the feelings. And I moved the feelings as well as I could. Took them out into the forest air, let them stomp on dirt and swing arms and trudge up big hills and then be submerged in water and then rest in slumber. And I woke up feeling better. Not totally better, but there was a glimmer of light there with me in the morning. And that's all we need, just a spark. And I woke up with it. So I cupped that glimmer of light in my hands as the beautiful holy thing it was, and I gave it some kindling and I let it create action. I'm reminded of building a fire on an Alaskan beach. A spark does not make a fire. If you try to put that spark up to a log or a piece of driftwood, it will burn out almost immediately, especially with the wind coming up from the ocean. You have to nurture the spark, cup it, honor how a spark works. You build a little container for the fire with dry grasses and maybe some little sticks. You make it easy for the spark to catch. It'll catch on those easier things, and when it's ready, as the spark becomes a fire, then driftwood or firewood can't help but burn. My favorite time to work is almost always first thing in the morning. So as I made my coffee, I was grinding the beans, and I was letting the spark do its work in my mind. Not pushing, not forcing, just allowing. I didn't know what it was going to do. It's going to do something. It was a spark. That's what sparks do. And then my thoughts began to shift and transmute because I'm thinking differently, open, curious. I'm pouring the half and half into my cup, and I'm thinking, maybe those drawings got erased for a reason. And then, as I take a sip of coffee, I think, well, maybe, maybe not. I mean, it could have just been a random glitch. Glitches happen, but even if that's all it is, maybe it will still end up being for the best. Maybe there are some slightly different drawings that I will now create that are actually going to serve the world so much better. And as that thought came to me, I decided to go with it. I liked it. I liked how it offered inspiration and lifted my spirits, made me feel kind of happy, like a fire starting to grow, right? Like there's a point, and there's something I can learn from all of this, whether it was random or whether it was on purpose. So yay! Something good can come from this. And I started drawing. And because I'd had that thought, hey, I wonder if I'll draw things a little bit differently because of this happening. Because I had that thought and allowed it to catch fire, I didn't set out to do the same thing. I looked at the empty page, I asked the page what it wanted on it, and I was open to some different ideas, some different variations. And then, sure enough, they took form and shape. My deleted illustration story that I'm telling you here got me thinking about those times when it just feels impossible to take action. You know, when life hits you over the head, or you get that shock of some unexpected change that's forced upon you. There is an immediate shock that can happen. You can be in that stunned state for a while, however long it lasts, where it feels impossible or painful or hopeless to move forward, where the body can't move forward at all yet. The brain can't even conceive of anything. It's just taking it all in. But then there's a spot we can get ourselves into after the shock where we just get stuck. I was recently talking about this with some clients of mine on one of the regular Zoom calls. I host calls inside of my Becoming Boundaried Bootcamp, and we do a variety of different things, but one of the calls I lead is a live Q&A. And on the Q&A, anyone in the program can come in and we do like hot seat questions. It's fun because the questions are so good because we're all compassionate people living this thing, becoming boundaried. Many are fellow helping professionals. We all care. So the subject matter tends to get real deep real fast. So one of the things we were talking about on that call was taking action towards what we know is good for us, towards what we say we want, but then don't do. And we're also talking about how many good reasons there are for not taking action. And some are just excuses, but some are valid or valid enough reasons why we're not doing the thing. And it's even more complicated if we are in a bit of shock or coming out of a state of shock. So I want to share with you a tool that I shared on that call. It's a tool I don't even think of as a tool so much anymore because it's just become how I function. But it really served to help me in this horrible drawing disaster. And I think you might find it helpful as well. One of the biggest missing pieces for compassionate people as we heal and come into our power is boundaries, because we've been trained not to have any. And I've experienced that not only in my own life, but with tons of people I've worked with as a therapist, fellow counselors, physicians, teachers, social workers, people who care. We know we need boundaries, but how? And then if we try to have some, we feel selfish, guilty, or mean. That's why I have such a strong focus on boundaries, because boundaries are integral to our empowerment. But people like us need to discover our boundaries in a way that actually works for our compassionate hearts. And that's what my Boundaries Breakthrough mini course is all about. It's just $19, it's packed with value, and it's so easy to do. You can get the Boundaries Breakthrough mini course at boundaried.com. That's boundaried with a D.com. The link is in the show notes, and I hope you have a blast in the mini course because it was really fun to make for you. I love how this tool is really honoring towards our feelings because it does not make us deny all the big feelings being experienced. You know, if there's not fun feelings, hey, they're not fun, but they're feelings. We don't have to be afraid of them. But it also helps remind us of feelings to come so that, yes, we can feel the feelings of the present moment, and at the same time, we stretch out into something more. So, do you have a thing that you want to do? Maybe it's a thing that's kind of hard. Maybe the actions needed to get the thing done aren't very fun. But you really want what you'll have on the other side of doing the thing. You can do this right now with me if you want. Imagine yourself 1 year from now having done the thing. Don't worry about all the steps you took to get there. Just imagine yourself having done the thing. And how does the future you feel having done the thing? What stands out to you about how it feels to be the you who has done the thing? And then ask yourself this: how will that you, 1 year from now, feel if the thing never got done? And they're still in the same spot you are now. It's an interesting contrast, right? There is a Molly I am going to be living into. Next year, there's a Molly next year. I'm going towards her. I like her. So let's focus just on the book completion, since that's the story I opened up with. So Molly 1 year from now has a cartoon book that is published. Actually, make that 6 months from now. So imagine with me, I have completed all the drawings for the story. I have done all the work on my end involved in creating this book. And my wonderful publisher has taken it from there. And now it's 4, 5, 6 months later, and I am getting a box from the publishing company. And when I open that box, oh, there are 20 copies of my cartoon book in there. How am I going to feel when I open that box? I'm actually grinning right now because I'm imagining myself reaching in and picking one of them up. I actually feel fluttery in my stomach just imagining that. It makes me feel so excited and so happy. This thing that used to only exist in my head and then only existed on my iPad is now here in a tangible form that can do so much good in this world. So how is the Molly now, the Molly who lives in today, going to walk towards the Molly who is opening that box and grinning from ear to ear? That's the power question. That's the tool. Because no, the Molly today, or should I say the Molly this past weekend, really did not want to sit down and draw nonstop, redraw a whole bunch of illustrations from the time she wakes up in the morning till the time she falls asleep at night so she can meet this deadline, which is actually what I did. One day, I started at 7 a.m. and I ended sometime around 10 p.m. And the only reason I ended was because my eyes were starting to swim and there was no way I could draw another thing. But I couldn't have done that. I wouldn't have done that if all I had been thinking about is how I felt about that weekend. You know, if all I'm thinking about is that weekend that I have to sit down and redraw drawings I already did because of something that happened that wasn't my fault, or at least I think it wasn't my fault. If all I'm thinking about is how I'm going to feel for the next 3 days trying to get this thing done, right? My body is going to deflate. And the biophysical makeup of my emotional state will be these chemicals that are going to surge through me. If all I'm thinking about is the misery in store for the weekend, is just going to be, no thanks, this sucks, I don't have the energy, this is miserable. And if I do it, which I probably still would have done it anyways just because I have a lot of willpower, but if I do it, it's going to be through sheer willpower and I'll be miserable. And the quality of what I create is probably going to be bleh. There'll be no magic in it, no flow in it, right? But if I can just step out of the present moment where this thing has happened that's going to be really hard to get through, if I can just step out of that exact emotional moment and move myself into a future me who's having very different feelings. Because when I imagine the me who is opening that box, what does my body want to do? My body wants to walk towards it. It takes me like 3 seconds before I've suddenly got a grin on my face. I'm excited. I'm excited about what I'm building, what I'm making. I'm popping on some good music. I'm settling in at my desk because I got work to do. And I actually had a really fun day drawing. That day when I went from 7 a.m. to 10 p.m., it actually shocked me when my eyes said no more and I looked at the clock. I'd somehow gotten lost in it, in the joy of creating the future. Do I want to walk towards moving into that body of the Molly who lives in the future who's opening that box? Hell yeah! It's easy! Yes! Now here's what's interesting. From a very technical point of view, if we're going to be totally analytical, just as much work needs done when it comes to task completion, right? Regardless of how I'm thinking about it or what mood I'm in, the tasks that completed need done. And we will often think that the real magic trick or the productivity hack is by focusing on the tasks somehow, maybe reorganizing them or, coming up with a different task completion strategy, which nothing against any of those things. But this thing I'm talking about here, this is a way bigger hack. When I am moving into the me in the future, when I'm moving into what I am here to create, it is suddenly way easier, even when it's a lot of work. Because I've actually felt into it. I felt into the future. So now I'm being carried along by the flow of it. And you can do that too, for whatever it is you're supposed to bring to life. Whatever it is you long to see come to fruition. There's no magical formula that makes the actual work part easier, not from a practical task completion perspective. The work needs done and someone's got to do it. The magic formula, and by the way, I'm using magic here for fun. It's not really magic. That's just a word we humans use to describe truths we cannot put our hands on in the world of visible matter. The real magic trick is the one between our ears, the one in our hearts, in how we think and feel about the thing perceptually. When you see it before it ever comes to life, you fill yourself with the natural energy of having it become matter. It's not a matter, M-A-T-T-E-R, the scientific use of matter. It's not a matter that you can see, feel, taste, touch yet. But you've lived into it. You've just filled yourself with the natural energy to create it because now you know it's true. It hasn't become your present reality in tangible form because it's just not here yet, but it's going to happen. It is your present reality in the future. This is not toxic positivity. We're not avoiding hard feelings. This is not spiritual bypassing bullshit, which I do not like at all, in case you can't tell. I don't like it when people teach folks how to manifest in order to avoid hard lessons. That's not what this is. This is neuroscience. This is deep self-development. We are living into the lesson. I am helping my brain wire towards that future reality being what I expect. No different from how I expect gravity to work. It just is. I see into the future and then I'm helping my body become accustomed to that reality, that signature. And the body's kind of like a puppy dog. It'll get excited with you. The body's like, oh my gosh, yeah, we can feel like that. Oh, I like that. Yeah, let's go that way. Our brain and our body become attuned to this new reality. And then, of course, they want to help make it show up for us in time and space. It's very doable. All we have to do then is start walking towards it. And this truth is true of practical things, like getting the illustrations done, if you have practical things you need to do, but it's also true of our healing journey. I'm using this tablet glitch here today as the example, but in a deeper way, I've been living this one in a much bigger way. I had a really hard winter and spring this past year. some tough stuff happened that felt shattering in a sense. So please know, I'm not speaking from an ivory tower. I'm speaking from the trenches. I do this. And life lifes. And sometimes when life lifes, it's really hard. But if we have a sense of not just the me that lives here right now, but also the me that is waiting for me, the me in the future who's waiting for the me now to get to her. Seeing into our future is a beautiful thing. We're not just a reed floating around, like a hollow reed floating around in a river being taken wherever the river happens to go. We have some agency. We have some power. We have some choice. We can see into the future and decide to walk that way instead of that way. On a practical note, because I know that many of you listening have worked with me inside the boot camp or are in the boot camp right now, there is some really good stuff on this, some great trainings that go deeper into this in Module 10. This is just a taste. If you're not there yet, you'll get there. Boot camp grads, you know what I'm talking about. If you are a listener here and you haven't ever worked with me before, but this is of interest and you're resonating, I am pretty sure there's an art therapy exercise that goes right along with this topic inside of the mini course. I think it's in lessons 1 or 2. There's 5 lessons in there, so if I got the wrong one, just email me and say, Molly, it was in lesson 3. But if you've really been resonating with what I'm talking about on this episode today, and you would like to apply this to your boundaries journey, well, I would like to help you. So get the mini course and you can explore it a bit more in there. And of course, if you want to come work with me more closely, there's a special offer to do that at the end of the mini course. And no pressure at all if that's not for you. But if it is, I'd love to help you. Because what will you feel like 1 year from now if you decide this is your year to become boundaried? Now, that's a good question to play with. Whatever the thing is you want to do, it's a powerful question to ask. And we don't ask ourselves those types of questions, so we stay stuck in our current reality and we keep living it out year after year. Nothing changes. But it doesn't have to be that way. Moving into our future can be really exciting. We have choices. We have hope. We have things in us that want to come to fruition. So we got to learn how to do that. How to move with life's bumps. How to pick ourselves up after our iPad glitches. We have to learn how to find our way when unexpected tragedy hits. Many things are outside of our control. Okay, many things are outside of our control, but my friend, many things are inside your realm of control. You have agency. You have options. You got this. We are a people. We are mighty, and I am including you in that. You're not alone, even if it looks that way. You're not alone, and there's something in you that wants to come forth. And only you can allow it to do so. We are here to help. We are here to encourage you. I can't wait to help you if you decide you want to come work with me more closely. But whatever it is, you have to decide you're going to do it. You have to start seeing the you in the future. The you who is waiting for you to get to them. You have to know that future you is worth walking towards. And they are. They are. So with that, I'm going to wrap up our episode today. And yes, I got all the illustrations in. Oh my goodness. Oh, what a feeling that was. Holy smokes. And I'm really happy with the changes that were made. I'm really, really happy with them. I like what happened so much better. I loved what I had meant to turn in, but I love the changed versions even more. So thank you so much for being here with me today. It's always a pleasure. And until next time, remember, love is the way, and you are worthy of that same love you so easily give to everyone else. My compassionate friend, I am so glad you're with us. We are the compassionate revolution. We are the change the world needs, and we're becoming it. If you loved this episode, please share it with a friend or give this podcast a 5-star review. I'd appreciate it so much. And if you'd like to get practical and work with me more closely on boundaries, you can come visit me at boundaried.com. That's boundaried.com for amazing resources. Because this is how we do it. One action at a time. We are moving into our power. And I'm so proud to be in this movement with you.